Welcome to another Zen Rose Garden Pro Tip Series. Coming up in this video, third eye, the real thing, and how to grow your third eye. Today we're going to be revealing new science.
I love science.
Yes, so what is the real third eye? Can you actually grow your third eye for real? In this video, we get nerdy with neuroscience.
Set your pencils out. It is time to tag up. It is now your turn. For all our Zen heads in Zen Ed Academy, let us know you're here. The hashtag ZenHead for life.
And if you're watching live, give us a hashtag live tribe.
And if you're watching on the replay, give us a hashtag replay fam.
For those of you who are just getting to know us,
I'm Heather.
And I'm David
From Zen Rose Garden.
And if you're new, consider subscribing. Click that bell, ding, 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 and you'll be good to go.
We're talking about different parts of the brain that activate during the classic mystic experience or the intuitive, empathic, or psychic experience.
Right. So the real question that we have is, can you really grow your third eye? We're talking about legit grow your third eye. And what is the new science about the real third eye that we've been talking about?
So now that we have totally flipped the pancake over, we want to know from you, what experiences have you had with your third eye? Because they can be all over the map. There's so many different ways to experience the mystic experience.
Yes.
What was your number one? Let's talk about this third eye thing. So if you want to look at, we're going to look at the brain. Mm-hmm. If you want to look at it from a purely left brain, right brain function, logical mind, right, operates from the left hemispheres, and creative, intuitive brain activities come from the right hemispheres. Areas of the brain have different functions, left and right, and it can get pretty complex.
But today, we're talking about parts of the brain as they relate to third eye functions.
So the brain parts themselves, not necessarily half and half.
Right.
So a lot of the research we're going to talk about today was discovered and began to be published in neuroscience, which I follow. In the 1990s is some of the stuff that we're going to talk about today came out. So a lot of discoveries are still being made and are ever evolving. And some of this is actually from some stuff that was published in 2006. So it's pretty recent.
It is happening fast.
And ever evolving. So as we follow the science, we begin to see a couple of things. One is that the intuition of the mystics of the past, thousands of years of mystics who are tapping in with their abilities, have equated locations of certain chakras, such as the third eye and the crown chakra, as being relative to where brain scans show activity now related to those actions.
And number two, that it is time to update our thinking as mystics and see where we might be holding ourselves back with old thought processes that are slowing down our progress, and expand more into growing our third eye with practices that are not as hard as we once thought.
Blaze and Turtle, sometimes when people are telling me something personal, I will see flashes of images or a flash of an emotion. Is that what you're talking about? Wait, because we're going to touch on that.
Now it's time. Now it's time for the good stuff. Now it's time for the good stuff.
Okay, the tip number one. Okay, first we're going to talk about the frontal lobe and the anterior cingulate cortex.
We'll just call it right here.
ACC.
Right. So the largest part of the brain is the frontal lobe, where logic and rational thinking live. When we are in hyperlogic, those third eye impulses can be dismissed because they seem illogical.
But it's really because they seem scary, right? So the fear center immediately wakes up and then all logic goes out the window. We know that the brain is interconnected, right? All the cells talk to each other, so it's very difficult to get them to go in different corners. So this is an example of the brain at war with itself somewhere.
Can't they all just get along?
But we like the frontal lobe, right? The frontal lobe, we need the frontal lobe. It imagines, it creates, and it integrates all our ideas about the mystical experience. Positive or negative, and then it logically evaluates them.
And puts them where they're supposed to go, right?
So we really need this part.
Or at least where it believes they're supposed to go. The part of the brain we consider the real third eye, or more probably the most central part of a bigger system, because new science, so new stuff is coming up, part of the bigger system sits between the frontal lobe and the limbic system. It looks like this funny little collard-shaped part of the brain, and is called dun dun dun.
the anterior cingulate cortex. So it's this funny little collar-shaped thing that sits right behind the frontal lobe and in front of the limbic system. So it sits between these two systems, and this is really important. It sits in the place of the traditionally visualized third eye.
Ooh, some of its functions are empathy, compassion, social awareness, and intuition.
But it is really complex and really cool. This is where more evolved parts of third eye experiences seem to take place, okay? This part of the brain allows you to experience the mystical in a loving and compassionate way. This is the more evolved part of your brain.
Yes, it decreases superstitious or religious anxiety, guilt, fear, and anger by suppressing activity in the amygdala. CTFO, chill the fuck out.
Which, if you remember, the amygdala is in the limbic system. When people see auras, lights, or visuals that are connected to that, the visual third eye experience, this area of the brain, bring, it lights up.
Yep.
Okay, so it's actually pretty cool. So how do your emotional limbic system, which is the primal old part of your brain, your logical frontal lobe, and your anterior cingulate work together?
Let's find out.
This is how they work together.
So think of it like a seesaw.
So the anterior cingulate cortex is a fulcrum, basically. It's a fulcrum, which is a seesaw.
In the middle.
That controls and balances the activity of the frontal lobe, which is your ability to use logic and reason, and the emotional limbic system, which includes the fear-producing amygdala.
So the ACC is busy doing a lot of things, but balancing primal emotions, right, with logical thoughts that flow between the old world and the new world is one big job.
So it's a conversation that never sleeps.
It's also the best mediator ever.
So on top of it doing these things we consider third eye functions, it's doing all this other stuff. But when you lose control of emotions, blood flow suddenly increases to the limbic system, and boom, you are now fearful, hyper alert, and defensive.
When activity goes up in the limbic, it goes down in the frontal lobe, right?
So seesaw.
Fulcrum, seesaw.
So basically you stop being logical or reasonable, and your cognitive skills,
including your psychic mediumship aptitude,
which lives there, go down the pooper.
Not pretty.
Okay, then the amygdala becomes active, the anterior cingulate shuts down, where all that third eye activity has been observed.
Now your reptilian brain is back to running the show, amok, all over everywhere, going, where's the threat? Where's the threat? Is it a squirrel? Is it going to eat me?
So because the anterior cingulate is now shut down, and your empathy and your intuition decline, and you lose the ability to accurately assess how other people feel. You just think you know how you feel because the emotions and feelings of the limbic system are
making it so real. Like red alert, red alert. So you are getting all of the primal feels of the limbic, but there is a higher probability that the information is distorted because you are disconnected from that anterior cingulate cortex, which processes the more evolved mystic information.
Well, and the ACC is where you have the feelings.
You down with ACC?
Of compassion and empathy. So the true empathy and compassion are in that part of the brain.
Right.
Back here is that like overactive emotions and feelings. So that's not true empathy.
Right.
That's an overactive limbic system.
But when your frontal lobe becomes active, stays active, and just kind of gets turned on, you stimulate the anterior cingulate cortex, which slows down the amygdala. It's like, all right, dude, chill, we're all good. It's like the hippie of the bunch. One side goes up, the other side goes down.
So you might be seeing how this might be affecting your own personal psychic practice, because we go into fear sometimes, and that's when we're kind of like, how come I can't tap in? I've lost that link or that connection. It's because this emotional part is overstimulated. It shuts it down.
And then nobody's listening to anybody, and fear wins, right?
Yes.
And Danson says, thank you for all of these videos. They really help me stay grounded and focused.
Yes.
Awesome. So we want to know, are you more excited now that you have these tips?
You know how we like to do. How we cleared up some mysteries or busted some spiritual myths.
Bust it. We have learned that self-growth and developing your superpowers go together like sushi, Sapporo, and sake.
And that's why we did create our signature subscription membership and community Zen Ed Academy to bridge that gap and revolutionize this field, get all the neuroscience up to date.
Are you ready for psychic and mediumship training that will not scare the crap out of you? If so, Zen Ed Academy is the Rebel Beast. Rebel Beast. Gotta love the Rebel Beast.
So Zen Ed Academy is where the science of self-growth meets the magic of mysticism. And this will work for you even if you're allergic to fairy dust and just need real information without all the unicorn poop.
Check out the link below for Zen Ed Academy. Right down there. If you like this video, hit that like button 5 times. Just kidding, once will be plenty.
Oh my God.
And for more live hangouts, behind the scenes secrets, and mind hacking pro tips,
Be sure to subscribe.
And click the bell to turn notifications on
So you're the first to know.
when we drop a new video.
Or go live.
Drop a new video.
Or go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource, and the fact that you guys have chosen to spend that with us, we honor and appreciate that. But most importantly, that you are here to grow your brain, to become even better in your life and your business, and taking all of that to a completely new level. We honor and appreciate that even more. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video over here or over here.
We'll see you in the next video.